All right then, everyone. Hello and welcome to round 6 of the NEF1 Championship. We are here around the Hungarian for the second sprint race of the season here, which is ran as follows. The top 10 in the championship starts in reverse order, meaning the Squidge 2017, who is leading the championship, starts in P10. Mr. Wilco, who's 10th in the championship race, he starts on pole position. P11 down to P20 in this case is as it would be otherwise. So then, just a couple of minutes away from running here on the circuit, which ran in real life Formula 1 just a day ago now, and it provided a couple of decent overtakes. Definitely a different style of race than what we've seen before, at least in this league, hopefully. With the battery not being as dependent anymore, because there's a lot of recharge points naturally around the circuit. And everyone is gonna have ample of battery power to play with. As we might be having grid issues here, and I'm not quite sure why. We're just gonna go over that before we have any major issues. As we're just working out what happened. So then actually we're just going to be going to a couple of more minutes worth of break before we get this all set up. So just stay tuned and we'll be right back in another couple of minutes. We're going to give this another go. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with some technical difficulties. Okay then, so now everything has been sorted and we are good to go. Spenclose will be starting this race P20, promoting O2 Hazy up to the front row of the grid, but we'll go over that in just a little bit as the lobby triggers and the formation lap begins. So then, which means we've got a slightly reformed grid here. Mr. Wilco in P1, followed by O2 Hasey in P2 on the inside line. Ray in P3, followed by Tess. Matty Adam in 6th. Oh, sorry, 5th. It would be 6th. Noah in P6, followed by Honorcheck in 7th. Max in 8th. Squidge in 9th place then, followed by iWatts in P10. And Reina starting in P11 then in his Cadillac, followed by E69, Djokovic in 13th, Wigan in 14th, Tiger Rockda 15th place for him. A-Fed 3BT hard tyres for the Alpine man, starts 16th place. Wildcat on the mediums, Darren and Kit. Williams having a tough go at it. P18 and P19 followed by Spenclose in the Mercedes, then starting last. He'll have a lot of work to do. Everyone starting on the medium tyre, apart from A33BT, who is starting on the hards. And is that going to be an indicator he knows something that the others don't? We'll wait and see. It's happened a couple of times previously in this league where we've had a situation like that. So then, Mr. Wilco's evening might have gotten a bit more complicated because O2 Hasey has been showing a lot of consistent pace throughout this season so far, and in that Ferrari seemingly doing very, very well. Could he have a chance at his first race win since season 5, if I'm not mistaken? Has been a while for O2 Hasey. Ray in P3 looking for his first sprint win, if I'm not mistaken. He's got a Formula 2 win, he's got a Formula 1 win. Now looking for that F1 sprint victory as well. Tess, very, very close, agonizingly close to a victory last time out in Madrid, but had that win taken away from him in the admin meeting after last week's incident with Matty Adam on the penultimate lap. Matty Adam then, who has won one race this season so far, looking to make it 2. He starts in P5. So here we go then, the red lights are coming on, the cars are revving up, it's 5 red lights and lights on, away we go, and Mr. Wilco gets a decent start. Hasey gets a significantly better one. Please show us the cars we actually want to watch. There we go. Might it be free wide going into the first corner? The Ferrari of Tess is coming through, maybe down the inside to take the lead of the race. And how will Hasey play this one? He wants to win his first race back in a long, long time, but Tess has had a brilliant start. Up from 4th place into 1st, and that is the way to do it. O2 Hasey maintaining position then, following his teammate. Noah 48 in the Aston Martin, following him. Mr. Wilco 3 positions down on the opening 2-3 corners. Mr. Wilco then P5, now swapping positions with Matty Adam, who goes round the outside in the sweeping right-hander. Going into the chicane then, nothing happening, but it's been a bad start for Mr. Wilco. Onracek in 7th, holding position. E69 up quite a significant number of positions. And how is ABT gone through? We gotta have a look at that as well. Up 3 positions on a set of hard tyres to start this race. A good sign of things to come potentially. Kit up 4 positions. iWatts has had a bad start, down 6. But then it is Tess who leads the Hungarian Grand Prix sprint race from his teammate O2 Hasey, and those are points that Ferrari desperately need in the Constructors' title battle. Noah and Ray P3 and P4. Right now Mercedes out of the points, and Squidge losing positions on the starts, not making any up. Spenclose had problems before the lobby, hence he started in P20 and not P2. So then Squidge just running in the middle of this pack, trying to get through, but there's no way through at the moment. Matty Adam 98 then on the back of his old teammate. Ray W25 in the Aston Martin team right now that's getting their season together a little bit. So I believe that's Kit who's had a problem around the 2nd sector. Aston Martin just ramping up these last couple of races. We'll see how they progress over the course of these next couple of ones as we approach the halfway mark of the season. Still got a couple of weeks to go until then. Matty Adam then, fresh off his first race win this season. Is he going to be able to go for P4 here on Ray? Battery doesn't really help you too much at the moment, and Kit has retired from this race in the final corner. And is that going to be a safety car or a virtual safety car? I don't think so, and I don't hope so this early on. No, it won't be. We are free to resume racing. Kit then is out of the sprint race. We'll see him for the Grand Prix. Noah and Ray, P3, P4, followed by Matty Adam in 5th. Let's get a beautiful overhead shot of that Aston Martin being hunted down by the Red Bull. Just a little bit better is Matty Adam through this long sweeping corners. And now, as you can see, right on the back of that Aston Martin as we approach the final couple of corners. Pulls to the inside, just pulls the dummy, not able to do anything in this particular situation. And he'll just have to wait a little bit longer. Tess is not running away with this win. Right now is being followed closely by O2 AC. He's able to maintain a decent distance. Here comes Matty Adam then on Ray W25, and is there going to be an opportunity for an overtake? Spenclose has had a problem. Here comes Matty Adam round the outside, trying to, just setting Ray up to go a little bit deep in the switchback move, which Matty Adam absolutely loves. And it is the Red Bull up into 4th place, and he is making progress then. Now needs to chase down Noah 48 at quite quick pace to not lose that overtake, because if you do, there's a decent chance you'll lose a significant amount of time with the way this recharge is. Emrain Evans up to P10, Mackers down in 9th place, down 1 position. Mackers, who's P2 in the championship at the moment, as it looked like he was going to get a move on E69F1, but he is lagging all over the place, which could make this a little bit uncomfortable for Mackers if the same is being displayed. As O2 Hasey is retired from this race from P2 as well, and where's that happened? On the outside of the barrier, and that's a very, very weird one. Is that going to trigger a safety car or a virtual safety car? No, it is not, for whatever reason. But O2 Hasey then from P2 is out of this race. You would imagine by a error made by himself. I don't think it was involved in a battle with either Tessa or Noah at the time. But that is going to massively compromise O2 Hasey for the entirety of this event. He's going to be starting the Grand Prix even in P19 instead of what could have potentially been P2, and a front row lockout for Ferrari. We're getting confirmation now of an O2 Hasey force feedback loss in the middle of that 3rd sector, and that could definitely explain why his car decided to go. So then Matty Adam now is fast around his circuit, is fast around circuits like this in general, and I think he's getting to grips with these cars. Squidge is up into 8th place, but he's not making any progress past that. So Matty Adam, is he going to be able to get a move on Noah 48 to start chasing after Tess? We're about halfway into this race now. A little less than halfway should be said. A BT on the hard tyres at the moment is P12. Not far away from the points as Matty has a little go at him. It's not quite close enough. And whilst this is going on, Tess is just running away with it ever so slightly. 1.6 seconds as we're going to give Spenclose an invite back. We're just going to watch this little battle unravel before we do. Here comes Matty on Noah then. Is he going to have any closing speed down the end of the straight? No, he doesn't. Which means it's time to give Spenclose a little invite, and then we'll continue following along with the action. I don't think we missed too much there, did we? A33 BT getting past Tiger, Octaf or Djokovic then, up at P11. So I think, was that Djokovic going very, very wide? Yes, it was. So Djokovic then in 13th, where he originally started. 1 or 2 cars to still be in a starting position. E69 then has been overtaken, has not been overtaken. Max has been overtaken by Squidge, sorry. He's currently sitting in P7, is E69, Squidge still in P8. 2 seconds now the gap from Tess to Noah. Noah racing for those valuable points. As can we have a Macker scam? I don't know quite what is going on with our current runners-up in the championship. He's probably having that problem with the Alpine ahead of him, which I don't know if you could class as race ruining, but it's not far away. There is a lot of lagging going on for E69, and Mac is probably being stuck in the middle of that. As here comes Squidge around the outside of Mac's teammate, Mr. Wilco, is putting a right squeeze on him round the hill as he's down the inside of Squidge. Squidge not able to make that move work. Very, very stern from Mr. Wilco in defense there. Very stubborn to keep track of that position as well. And Mr. Wilco remains in P6 for the time being. As we're getting Wi-Fi problem reports for Spenklos. He's currently running along in 17th place, so at least he'll start a couple of positions upwards from what he did this race. Matty Adams still in P3, then needs to get a move on now past Noah 48 if he wants to be able to have a go at Tess here. No strategy involved this race, unless we may have a safety car or a virtual safety car. Here we go then, Matty Adam on Noah. The battery is just doing a little bit, and here might be the run for Matty Adam, who has to send it down the inside into the first corner, like Max Verstappen did just a day ago now. And that overtake is not quite done yet, because here comes Noah, maybe into the braking zone of the next corner, barges his way into almost the side of Matty. I think Matty's just going to be able to get the better of him, though. I think Noah might have just backed out of that one after the contact. I don't know if he did. Matty Adam into P2 then, but with 2.4 seconds up to Tess. How quickly is he going to be able to pull that gap down? At the moment, very quickly, evidently. 3/10 already after just a corner, but that could have been some sort of mistake from Tess. We don't know. E69 is not a problem. He's down a couple of positions in 14th place now. You would imagine, yep, no front wing on the front of that Alpine. That is going to be him starting almost plumb last, maybe actually plumb last in this race. Wiggins having a problem around the first corner as well in the McLaren. We've not seen too much of him so far this race. As Matty Adam then from 2.4 seconds to 1.5 seconds in one lap. As Squidge 2017 at the moment is in P6, scoring a couple of points then, but it is crucial for both Tess and Matty, who might be contesting the Grand Prix victory here in a little bit, that what can be said, that Squidge doesn't start any further up. Maybe gets caught behind Ondrzejczyk Reinoa a little bit, and will not be in contention for the Grand Prix win. That is Tess and Matty's hopes. We'll see how it all plays out. We've got 3 laps to go here. How is A33 BT doing, and what is the situation with his tires at the moment? Those hard tires, it's in a little bit of a train behind Mr. Wilco. The question is, how is he going to be able to use these tires now to get past a couple of cars and into the points? As is a big train now behind the Racing Bulls, Mr. Wilco and Mackers. P7 and P8 at the moment. Mr. Wilco losing time to Squidge, which is not unexpected. He's a very, very fast driver. But Mackers, you'd reckon, is just maybe feeling a little bit frustrated. Is it a little bit of a switcheroo here between the Racing Bulls? No, because Mr. Wilco has gone the first corner all sorts of wrong and immediately down to P11 out of the points. And Reina then into P8, and Beatty just now on the fringes in P9. So he is running a very, very good race. 7 positions up, best out of anyone so far. Mr. Wilco's having an awful time at it. The man started in P1, right now running in P11, outside the points and outside the top 10. Oh, SBT just getting a little bit of a tank slapper on in that second sector coming out of the chicane. Not ideal. As here we go then, Matty Adam might just be about to break into the 1 second gap to Tess. And is that going to provide a little thing called overtake mode? I think as we went past the detection, he was inside. So now then, for the next 2 laps, Matty might just have his best go at it. As you can see, their overtake has been enabled for Matty Adam. Squidge then has made it past one of the Aston Martins, who I don't think has the power to fight this one back particularly. And now he's set his sights on Ondracek to start P4, and that is position the Squidge could do damage from. However, Matty at the moment, his pace is looking incredible. He's broken Noah by a second and a half, and now he is right on the back of Tess. And this is going to be a very, very interesting one. The last time these two were together on track, it ended in almost calamity. We'll see how this one progresses. So then, with 1 lap to go, and Matty realistically is only going to have 1 shot at this. It's going to be into the first corner. Tess, does he have enough juice? Does he have enough tires to defend? The A33 BT, speaking of tires, is inside the top 8 now. He's ran a very good race. Here comes Matty Adam then on Tess, and this is going to be a little bit anticlimactic. It's been difficult overtaking around the circuit. Here comes Matty, but he is nowhere near close enough. Closes in significantly on the braking though. Needs to put Tess under a little bit of pressure, but you can see the tires are just gone on that Red Bull. He's had to work for it today, Matty Adam. Tess got a very, very good getaway evidently. I'd love to see that start from his onboard. And was leading this race throughout. He's been running in clear air, not battling at all since the first lap. Matty's been having to make his way through the pack, and that could have been the deciding factor in this sprint, but it's not quite over yet. We've got a couple of more corners to go here, but if Tess parks in the middle of the circuit, he should be all right. So then, it was a bit of controversy in Madrid last time out in the penultimate lap. This time though, momentum shifts in the favor of Red, in favor of Tess, and in favor of Ferrari. It wasn't a 1-2, which could have been 0-2 Hasty with feedback issues, but Tess is going to come home to take his first P1 of the season. It's not going to be a Grand Prix, but it is going to be, actually, here comes Matty Adam, drag race to the line, not quite. Tess wins the the second sprint race of the season, his first win of the season. P1 for Tess, P2 for Matty Adam, P3 for Noah, yet another top 3 finish for him. Ondracek rebounding strong after Madrid in 4th place. Squidge, the momentum halted, he finished in 5th place in the end, but it's a good recovery from him. Followed by Ray Mackers and Reina Djokovic, Mr. Wilco Tiger. What happened to BT? No, who finished in 12th in the end, followed by iWatts, Darren Stahl, 1980s Wildcat, Spenclose and Wigan. E69, O2 Hasty and Kit, all outside the top 10 then in the final couple of positions. That was a very, very close Enter Grand Prix between Tess and Matty Adam, or to the sprint race, between the two. I thought I was about to announce Tess as the winner, and all of a sudden Matty got the run on him. Just had to halter a little bit, but Tess wins his first of the season, and he is back in race-winning form. So then, and at the end of that sprint race result, we are going to be going to a little bit further of a break to get the Grand Prix all set up and get the order established. You've got your finishing order on your screen right now. So just take it in for one brief moment. We'll be back in about 10 minutes time, hopefully, if everything goes as we hope it will. And we'll see you very, very soon again for 35 laps worth of racing around the Hungaroring. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for that. All right then, so here we go. We are back after a little bit of sorting the grid in Hungary here for the Grand Prix. So we're going to be a couple of more minutes until we get this race started. Everyone's had a chance to rest. Now everyone's just going to get their setups in order to get a strategy going. And we'll be going 35 laps worth of racing action around the Hungarian. One of the more intense circuits on the calendar is coming up. Overtaking, we have seen it is very, very difficult, but it is doable. Mistakes are plenty here. Couple of retirements after only a few laps. How will this race look after 35 laps is the question. So then, can I get a confirmation as well that the stream is up and running as it should before we get the race underway, so we know everything's working? If anyone's watching, just please give me a little bit of a audio check. As we got a confirmation from O2 Haze, it is a potential for rain at the end, so that could be very, very interesting. A couple of confirmations there, all good, so we should be set to go. So then everyone, we are set to go racing here for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Radio check, Savas radio check says E69, and it's loud and clear hopefully. Geno says everything sounds okay as well. Perfect stuff. As we're about to get going for 35 laps worth of the Hungarian. The sprint race has ended. No qualifying here, which could have been rather interesting actually. But it was an interesting sprint nevertheless. O2 Hazy starting much further back than he could have potentially. He suffered from a couple of technical difficulties, which meant he retired from the race rather early. He's going to be starting in 19th place, if I'm not mistaken. So the Ferrari 1-2 has gone from potential to very, very unlikely. If they execute it, it'll be quite a feat. As Geno says, not a gambling man, but Matty to win, I think. We'll wait and see. SR Halo, I missed it so much, but I know I'll just hate it if I race. A special regulation of car, but it's a different style of circuit now, mate. And you are welcome back whenever you will. There's a nice empty seat waiting for you, should you want to. As we have a very, very stationary Racing Bull on the grid. Is that Mr. Wilco? No, that's Mac, who's been disqualified from the formation lap. He'll be allowed to participate in the race. He'll just not have a chance to warm up his tyres. We're going to have a look at strategy here then. Is anyone going hard tyres to maybe even last to the rain comes? Mr. Wilco, E69, and O2 Hazy all doing that. Everyone else starting on the mediums. That we learned are not too durable around this particular circuit. So then Tess and Matty lining it up side by side with each other for the second time today. They would have been side by side with each other going into the first corner in the sprint as well. Tess got a fantastic launch off the line last time out. Now though, it is for the race lead and potentially the win. We know that when it starts raining, it is very, very hard to beat. Matty Adam 98 always comes live during the rain, so it depends on when we have that. Tess and Squid struggling a little bit in those conditions as related to Matty Adam. How long will it be until that rain falls though? It's looking very, very overcast here. Tess though, if he can get a similar launch that he did last time out, will be golden going into the first corner. And Noah 48 from P3 still chasing that first victory, not far behind. So here we go then, we are all set for the Hungarian Grand Prix. 35 laps of racing starts now. Red Bull versus Ferrari, Tess versus Matty. Once again, 5 red lights, and it's lights on, away we go. And I think it's another brilliant start from Tess, who straight away covers off the Red Bull. But my goodness, the starts he gets in these cars are fantastic. And here comes the Mercedes down the inside of Noah into the first corner, and now it's crucial for Matty Adam to withstand this pressure. Squidge already up into P3 in this race. From P5, Noah down his inside into the next corner, needs to make it out ahead of the Mercedes. He doesn't. Squidge is up into the top 3, and here we go then. It's going to be an onslaught now from Squidge 2017 potentially, who we know has the pace in these cars to beat anyone on any track. However, on this particular circuit, with overtaking is tricky. Does he have the pace to get past both Matty and Tess? We'll wait and see. It'll become a strategic game as well. Bad start from Spenklos, bad start from Mr. Wilco, and a disappointing start for Rain as well, down 3 positions. A good start from iWatts up into the points finishes, and Djokovic is up into P8 after the most difficult start to a season that he has had since joining NEF1 back in Season 2. SSR Halo saying that's a proper Ferrari start. Yeah, it was from those first couple of races this season. Definitely a start to mimic that one. You should have seen the one in the sprint race. It was absolutely tremendous. P5, I believe, to P1 before the first corner. An absolutely fantastic getaway. As we're following on board with the McLarens, then maybe switching positions further down. 1980s Wildcat in P18, going past Wiggins 71 in 19th place. Spenklos then having a bad start to the Grand Prix. He is 20th, 4 positions down. A Squidge then holding position for the time being. So then, Mackers, the man in SSR Halo, I'll watch back later. I missed it. Yeah, I definitely got to watch that one live back later. We didn't catch too much of it sadly on stream. It would have been amazing to. Hopefully a POV will be uploaded in Discord later. I certainly think so, at least. It was a brilliant overtake indeed, or a brilliant start indeed. So Mackers, the man currently sitting in P2 in the championship, not having the best of times here today at the Hungary. He's currently running in P7, so it's not a bad position, but not on pace for that podium position he'll be hoping for most races now. He's shown the pace. He's shown the pace to have it, or shown to have the pace to do so. As Tess versus Matty Adam then might be getting a little bit interesting. Tess pinched towards the inside, pulls towards the outside. Matty just going to try something a little bit different. He's got quite a bit of grip on that medium tire, and maybe, just maybe, going to try to pull it alongside Tess. He's unable to pull that move off. Around the outside into there is a very, very tricky overtake to get done on the same aged tire as well. So Matty Adam maintaining his P2 for the time being. He can't attack too hard because Squidge will be right behind him looking to strike at any opportunity. As O2 Hasty has now had a problem, and he's down in 20th position and last. He's had a problem right between Sector 1 and Sector 2. Is that a broken front wing on the Ferrari as well, or is it just a little bit of a half spin or a spin maybe? I think everything looks pretty okay, apart from the fact that he just went out on the grass a little bit. As Squidge then is right on the back of Matty Adam, and Tess then is not leaving them any breathing room. No one under check. It's a big train all the way down to Djokovic and 8th behind the leader, and it might be the way this race is going to be ran. Lap 3 out of 35. We're nowhere close to the point where anyone might consider a pit stop to get out of this train yet, but in about 5 or 6 laps, maybe. As Matty here goes round the outside, and is he going to be able to get that run round the outside after the first corner? Yes, he can. Turns to the inside into the next one, and Matty Adam takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Needs to secure a decent exit here, and he does so. And now is the question. We saw what happened with Matty when it was unleashed from behind Noah about 20-25 minutes ago now in the sprint race. Will he be able to do the same to Tess? It's already broken 0.6 of a second. He is the faster of the two. And what will Tess do in response? Because as a response to this, or as a result of this, he might be exposed to Squidge coming up behind him. We'll wait and see. Noah 48 in 4th place at the moment, just sitting back watching everything that is currently ongoing. Here comes Squidge on test, but is nowhere near close enough to make a move as of yet. But it is a tightly contested field at the moment. A little bit of a gap between Djokovic and Tiger Octave. Here comes Squidge on test then. Pulls to the inside, turns to the outside just before he starts turning into the corner, and Tess has that covered. But this is costing them valuable tenths of a second to Matty ahead, whom Squidge cannot allow to disappear over a second down the road. Matty right now with a pace advantage, I think, over everyone in this race. What's going on further down the grid? And Reina right on the back of Iwas then for the final points paying position as well, as Squidge has not been able to get past Tess going up the hill either, which trying to move there would be absolute madness. But you can't blame a guy for trying, can you? Sovan and Reina not quite able to get that done as of yet. Squidge coming out of the final corner versus Tess then. 0.2 of a second back. Tess is just losing a little bit of ground to Matty Adam, but crucially still got that overtake, and that could be ever so important in his quest to keep the Mercedes behind him. As is an aggressive sounding Ferrari that, who is actually closing in a little bit of Matty Adam through this first sector. Might just turn to a little bit of a loss as a result of that in the second one. All depends on deployment and how much you get out of the battery, especially around a circuit like this as well. We can use the battery coming out of most corners, not having to lift and coast as much as you would in a regular circuit. A33 BT has come into the pit lane very, very early here, lap 6 out of 35. And is that a calculated undercut for a BT? What's he put on that car? Is it a set of hard tires? Yes, it is. However, crucially, or disappointingly enough for him, he's ended up right behind Spenclose now, and he needs to make his way past quite quickly if this isn't an attempt at an undercut, which I do think it is, as here is Squidge right on the back of Tess once again, as the laps are, they're ticking down quite quickly at the moment. As how bold does Squidge feel on the brakes here? Relatively bold. Tess closes that gap on him though, and Squidge loses a little bit of traction as a result. And I don't think Squidge is going to be particularly happy with that. The rules state if you move off the racing line, you're allowed to move back, but you must leave a car's width, and that might just be moving under braking or moving too late for a tester to close the gap down again. I don't think Squidge is going to be necessarily too happy with that one, and whilst that is going on, Matty is just about to break that 1 second barrier to Tess as well, which could be catastrophic for both their races, providing the overtake mode disappears. It might also be what Squidge needs to finally make it past Tess as well. 7 laps into the Grand Prix. This race is only in its infant stages so far, as A33 BT has begun chasing down 1980s Wildcat for P18. He's 21 seconds back, but he's just going to have clear track in front of him to try to pull whatever strategy he wants to this race. So Squidge stands still not close enough to make a move. Under checking P5 holding station at the moment. Max P7. Not a lot of overtaking being done, but the two Cadillacs going side by side with each other. And Reina ending up victorious in that little battle. And now E69 is coming up on Tiger Octave. to try and sweep around the outside. It doesn't end up working, turns to the inside into the next corner, and that is right on the cusp. Sovan and Matti has now broken away by well over a second. Here is Squidge's chance then at breaking past Tess. And is he going to take it on the first time of asking? 2 seconds already as we get a virtual safety car actually. I don't quite know what for, but something you would imagine have happened. The virtual safety car is out and Emrena's going to take that opportunity to go straight into the pit lane. And this could genuinely be something that sees Emrena eventually into the lead of this Grand Prix. With the undercut that he is getting here. It's a undercut and a very, very cheap pit stop unless this transitions over to a full safety car, which I don't think it shall. Hard tires going on the Cadillac. And a beautiful bit of luck for Emrena E69 iWatts as well. And then are going to be coming out at racing speed. We'll see how this... it's a perfect timing for Emrena. And as soon as he comes out of pit lane, it goes green flag once again. And I think Tess actually quite happy with that, as he survived another lap versus Squidge here. Is right on his gearbox, coming through this little S section here in the middle of Sector 2. The Ferrari very much under pressure from championship rival. The two men that have swapped championships with each other the last 3 seasons is Tess, Squidge, and Tess again. The last 3 championships handed out. And now it's Squidge hunting down Tess to get one back on him. And it might be the longest standing rivalry we've had in any F1 this. So Squidge and Tess then going into the first corner. Is Squidge now going to dive one down the inside? Tess opens up the outside. And the two just rubs wheel a little bit on the apex then. But Tess maintaining track position and Matti keeps breaking away. And where is Emrena in all of this? He is going into the pit lane again. And what's happened to Emrena here? Who was on a brilliant strategy. Oh, it's a drive-through penalty. No, did he get a drive-through for speeding under the virtual safety car potentially just as it was ending? And I completely missed that. But that has taken any sort of an advantage away from Emrena 89 there, who was on a perfect strategy. Now then, it's up to E69 and iWatts to make the most of it. Oh, that's unfortunate for Emrena, and I completely missed that one as it happened as well. Don't think I got a notification on screen either. Usually it pops up quite heavily. So just got to check, did anyone else get that same penalty? E69 did as well, so you would imagine they got caught out by the same thing. As that's contact with a wall for a certain someone. Is that under check? I just heard something in the background. That surely is the Audi that's gone into the wall in the final corner. Now it's the state of that front wing, half broken, which means he's got to carry back into the pit lane. Probably be rather careful with it as well. Tiger Octave, be aware the car ahead of you is front wing damage. I feel like that's something the game should be telling you, because it has quite an effect on the rest of the race, or the way you approach a car as well. We saw a couple of incidents like that in Madrid, where people raced people with front wing damage. Let's just say it didn't go quite excellent. Where is Tess? Has he been into the pit lane, or has he made a mistake? I think he's been into the pit lane. Yes, he has completely missed that. I believe looking at undercheck. So Tess now triggering an undercut, and I think Matti might have to respond to this one within this first lap, which means Squidge might have to respond to it as well. Or does he think he can potentially overcut Tess? 10 seconds clear the car up to him. So Matty does have a nice little bit of space to pit into. And he is coming into the pit lane as well, is Matty Adam and Squidge Den. Both into the pit lane here, and I'm not getting my notifiers on that either. As there we go, now I'm getting notifiers on it as I switch things around a little bit. So Matty and Squidge into the pit lane along with Mackers as well. He's a little bit behind this. But where is Tess in comparison? The undercut on Squidge definitely works. And another lap he would have had Matty Adam back as well. The gap that was almost 3 seconds is now 1.2 seconds. A very, very powerful undercut here. And that is what Emreina could have had he not had to serve that drive-through penalty. He could be leading this Grand Prix, Emreina. Got very, very unlucky there with the penalty. As Ondrzejek then has been given a penalty for something as well. Gonna check out what that is. You would imagine it's a 3-second time penalty. Yes, it is. Track limits infraction. So a couple of people yet to pit. Mr. Wilco is going to be staying out for an extended period of time, you would imagine. The other cars ahead of him, so that's both the Astons and both the Audis along with Tiger Octave are going to be in within the next couple of laps. And Noah's coming in just now then, not want to let himself be undercut. So it's a strategic race, this one. The undercut proving very, very powerful indeed. Which I do quite like when the undercut decides to do stuff like that. As Noah versus iWatts is going to be interesting on the exit. It's not interesting actually. iWatts has undercut Noah 48 with the aid of some fresher tires and a cheap pit stop as well. And now Noah will be very much caught behind that Red Bull. Keep in mind, they're in a Constructors' Championship battle. As O2 Hayes has decided to knock a front wing M plate off. That is yellow flags going through Sector 1. And could that be a virtual safety car as well? I don't think it'll be called, and that debris should be despawned. But a lot of front wings being knocked off here at the moment in these earlier stages of the race, and that's a problem for someone. Mr. Wilco has had a problem, and that has triggered a safety car. Mr. Wilco has had a problem on his hard tires. Front wing is gone, and the safety car has been called, and that is a good news for Ray and Djokovic, who both pit now. How much is this going to slow everything down? And is Ray potentially here going to be in a beautiful position to claim the lead of this race? Where is Tess? Tess is ahead of Matty Adam somehow, and how has this happened? And where is Ray on track in comparison to Tess? Ray free to race on the exit, but he's coming out just behind Squidge. It's been a good call for him, not quite as good as he would have wanted. How on earth did Tess end up ahead of Matty there? How was that happen? Was Matty involved in something with Mr. Wilco potentially? I have no clue how that's gone on. Somehow something's happened. Matty's lost over a second to Tess and a position, and Mr. Wilco's ended up in a wall. Yeah, Matty involved in an incident with Mr. Wilco. Apparently Matty potentially a passenger in that incident, but I'm sure we'll look at it after the race. But Tess then inheriting the lead of this Grand Prix once again at a little before halfway round. Matty Adam in P2, followed by Squidge in third. Ray will be disappointed that he wasn't able to rest his car out in P1, but P4 I think he'll take under the circumstances. Djokovic, iWatts, Noah, Darren's inside the points as well, following, or he's ahead of the two Cadillacs. And has anyone lost out significantly because of this? I believe Ondrzejek's lost out quite a bit as a result. I think Makis might have just lost out a little as well. So everyone has made their mandatory pit stop this race. We are expecting rain at the end, but it's not 100% certain. So wait and see how that goes. A couple of freezing time penalties to be handed out. Darren Ondracek, E69, a 1980s Wildcat. Will be the proud recipient of a couple of those. I'm sure we're going to hand out a couple of more before this race ends. But then now we know what has triggered the safety car at least. It was an incident between Mr. Wilco and Matty Adam. And that is front wing damage on Matty Adam. Around a circuit like this as well, we really cannot afford it. Ooh, does Matty count on track position being crucial here? Does he think he'll be able to keep Squidge behind him? There's now going to be damage limitation. As Matty actually said that in the Twitch chat a little while ago, but I completely missed that. So Matty Van, who might have been en route to his second straight victory, now is going to have a slow pit stop next time he's in, if he wants to replace that front wing, which you would imagine he wants to, as well as he's going to try to keep up with Tess and keep Squidge behind him with a broken front wing. Far from ideal for Matty Adam in this scenario. It's a Matty Adam as well in desperate need of points. So the safety car is staying out for another lap, and I don't know why because the field's all gathered up, but safety car does what safety car wants. I'm sure at the end of this lap we'll be going racing once again. Just going to do a little connection check on all the drivers, make sure everyone is in the lobby as they should be. Everything appears fine. So then the safety car in message should soon be displayed here. We're expecting Tess to assume control of the pace. There we go. I didn't get a safety car in message, but the lights have come off regardless. So here we go then. Tess versus Matty versus Squidge on the restart. It's in Tess's interest to not jump Matty significantly and allow Squidge a run on him. Tess's ideal world would be that Matty holds up Squidge for a lap or two with that broken front wing, because he will be losing a lot of pace with that damage. We'll wait and see. When does Tess decide to restart this race? The safety car is in the pit lane, and out of the penultimate corner they go. How is that damage then going to affect Matty Adam? It's alright through the final corner. It's a medium speed corner, it's the best type of corner. Now through the slow speed and during the braking, Venice, here comes Squidge already sniffing down the inside. You can just see Matty's car wanting to go a little bit wide on the exit, but it might be drivable for the time being. We'll be suffering quite a big downforce loss with that. Looking down further, Noah not going to be happy with the state of this race. Now the safety car has been called out. Used to be racing for P4, P3, now about he's P7. and having a little bit of overtaking to do. Iwas, Djokovic and Ray all ahead of him. That shouldn't have been unless we had a safety car. He's got a bit of work to do. Darren Stahl running in the point position in P8, I believe for the first time this season. So Darren's having a good one here. Needs to keep it clean with that time penalty though, and create a gap behind him as Noah's gone past Iwat here. Yellow flags already. That's very, very quick. Those have been cleared relatively quickly and go back racing. As here we go, Iwat's trying to come back at Noah, and after that here comes both Darren and Tiger Octaf. Darren who looked a bit either very, very confident or not really in control under brakes. They're closed in massively on Iwat's, to the point where I think Iwat's actually turned in a little bit early to maybe try to get out of the way should Darren have lost control of that. So that's just working theory. As Matty's maintaining a alright distance to Tess, but is not ideal, and he's just about keeping ahead of Squidge 2017. So he's working that Red Bull quite hard at the moment. But if there is another pit stop here, then Matty's going to be losing valuable seconds. You would imagine that second pit stop will come only due to rain. At that point, Matty can't really afford to fix that broken front wing, because it'll be so difficult to overtake around this circuit without an increased amount of deployment, mind you, in the rain. That'll be very, very difficult. Matty might just have to make do for the rest of this race without a front wing, or without half a front wing. So here comes Tiger Octaf on Iwat. Might he be going for a little bit of a send down the inside? Not quite confidence too, but Iwat gives him a lot of room on the inside, and that is actually going to invite Tiger Octaf to go straight round his outside through the Hamilton corner. Is he going to be able to make that work? Yes, he is. And Tiger Octaf is into 7th place at the moment. And Rain are now hunting down Darren for 9th. Some rain are being love-tapped a little bit there from Mackers around the final corner. Mackers desperate to get back into the points. He's not had a good race so far. Has the Racing Bulls, and now he's going to take avoiding action of Darren, who's spinning ahead of him. That's actually very, very good reflexes from Mackers. But he gets caught up in the middle between Ondrejek and E69, and is free wide into the Hamilton corner. And they make that work. That is good driving for all three of them, because no, E69 and Reina are out of this race on the exit, and we have another safety car. And it was so good until it was not good anymore. And now another safety car van, and it's the question, does Matty have to come into the pit lane now to maybe get rid of that wing? Do we expect rain? What's the status of this race? E69 and Reinavan are out in an incident that looked to begin with. There was very, very good driving between them. It is worth taking note that Tess has not been able to shake Matty, even though that front wing damage is there. Tess is coming into the pit lane. Matty, Adam and Squidge is not. Ray is not. Djokovic is not. Question is, what is Tess doing? Is it another set of hard tires, medium tires to go to the end of this race is the question. And where will he come out? Intermediate tires going on Tess's car. He's gambling on the rain coming very, very soon. Is Ondracek going to be doing the same in his Audi, or what is he putting on? Intermediate tires. Their indicator is that the rain will be coming very, very soon then. So this will allow them to cruise up to the back of the field instantly, but on a set of tire that is going to overheat incredibly fast. And to me, it doesn't look like it's quite ready to start raining yet. It's an interesting strategy from Tess that if it works out, he's going to win this race. If it doesn't, he might end up without points here. It all depends on how long the safety car is, and I don't think it's going to be a particularly long one. Might be one more lap after this. It depends on how long the safety car is going to be and when that rain inevitably starts falling. Because that's an indicator to people going on the intermediates that the rain is going to start falling. As was that an A33 BT going into the pit lane as well? No, wasn't. No one else is going in yet. Actually, both O2 Hazy and Darren are coming in. So O2 Hazy then, is he doing the same thing? Intermediate tires going on that Ferrari, intermediate tires going on the Williams of Darren. This could be a championship points wing if I've ever seen one. Spenclose at the moment is the driver behind Tess. So Mercedes split strategy here. Spenclose, nice on hard tires. So right now, if it was to start raining now and everyone has to pile into the pit lane, it'd be Tess leading this race from, you would imagine, Ondracek and Mr. Wilco. Wouldn't that be something if Mr. Wilco, after the incident he had, and he looked down and out a couple of laps ago, wouldn't it be something if he was somehow able to wrest the podium away from this race through that intuition? We'll wait and see. It still doesn't feel like it's anywhere near starting to rain yet. Just as I say that, obviously we're bound to have a couple of drops of rain, and is that what I'm seeing on the halo actually of Matty Adam, or is it just... No, we're starting to get rain here in Hungary. Okay, the rain is starting to fall. The question is, how long will it take? How long will it take until it forces everyone onto intermediate condition tires? As everyone's just gonna calm me down a little bit now, as Matty Adams going to be controlling this restart lap. 22 out of 35, still very much dry conditions here. It will be for another lap or two, you'd imagine, but the rain is starting to come, and Tess might have played this one very, very nicely. The question is, how are those intermediates going to be these next couple of laps? Matty Adam restarts this race and he gets a good launch, but that broken front wing is not going to aid him now at all. Iwatts straight into the pit lane for intermediate tires, and that will have basically ruined, you would imagine, his race. I think it's a bit too early to come in now that we're still under racing speed. Should have waited another lap. That's a little bit trigger happy for Iwatts, I reckon. So 5-second time penalty, something like that, for a kit needing to be served. And how are those intermediate tires of Tess holding up? And what is he doing to them at the moment? He is putting those tires under massive, massive loads. He's putting those tires under a massive, massive amount of temperature. which is going to eat them up relatively quickly. And he needs to take that into factor. He's losing time at the moment. He's losing seconds per lap. Spenclose is right on the back of him. And is he going to have a go here at Tess in a place where you wouldn't normally see? He overtakes and he pulls that off without it being too much of a challenge. Squidge now is actually losing quite a bit of time to Matty Adam. So he's not had a particularly good restart. Matty Adams doing a very, very good job in that Red Bull so far. Now we're going to go from the interval to the leader. It's 7.2 seconds at the moment. It's a gap we've got to keep track of. And when are people going to start closing in on leaders through these intermediate tires? When is that switchover point? It's not yet. We can establish that 0.4 of a second in the first corner alone. And if the rain doesn't intensify more than this, we might not be going to intermediate conditions, might just have droplets of rain. The game can absolutely put us in a state where that happens. It's happened a couple of times before, where we've had a wet race, but dry tires ran through it. I believe there's a race in France a couple of seasons ago that comes first to mind. Usually a good indicator when it's time for wet tires is when the game disables battery usage and the full allowance of straight mode, which at the moment is still very much in effect here, as Matty Adam leads Squidge by 0.7 of a second, and Tess has lost another couple of seconds, about 3 seconds so far on this lap. But at the moment he's still very, very comfortable in the lead of this race if everyone ahead of him pits. As Noah decides to do so now, so this is going to give us an indicator of just how much time you'll lose. The question is, if it doesn't start raining too heavily, are you better off trying to survive on dry tires for an extra lap or two? Intermediate tires going on OF48's car. 9.3, 9.2 seconds somewhere is the gap, but the decline is halting a little bit. And the intermediate tires now starting to work a little bit better. The question is, how much has Tess worn those tires down whilst this is ongoing? And is Ondrzejczyk just going to have a little go at him? He might do, because Jesus Christ, the run he got coming out of that sweeping left-hander. As Matty Adam and Squidge then committing to their strategy. Actually no, Squidge comes into the pit lane then on lap 25. Matty Adam is staying out. He is risking quite a lot at the moment for an extra race win. The question is, the rain is now intensifying. 10 laps to go here. What is Matty going to do with the advantage that he has on a hard tire that should be starting to wear down a little bit? And now I believe we are right on the crossover point where the intermediate tire might just be just as good or a little bit better than the hard tires. I think we're at that point now. Yep, Tess has started to just gain a little bit on Matty Adam. We are now on the crossover point. Keep in mind though, when Squidge pitted from just behind Matty comes out in P9, Matty then will probably end up behind Squidge if he comes into the pit lane now in P9 or maybe even P10, depending on how quickly time is starting to be lost. The question for Matty now is, how much is it going to be raining? Is it going to stay like this? Am I going to be able to maintain that gap and maybe just somehow stay ahead? Or do I need to cut my losses and pit? And how desperate is he? Will he pit? Is the question. Because here comes Djokovic behind him as well, and he's looking relatively fast. Tiger Octave doing the same, but Tess has gained half a second on this lap. Matty Adam then cuts his losses at the end of lap 26. It might be a lap too late and comes into the pit lane. We're expecting him to come out somewhere between Squidge 2017 and Noah now. And Tess, who went on a bold strategy, is going to take the lead of this race with Ondrejek hot on heel behind him. Mr. Wilco in third place here. O2 Hasey in P4. What was it I said about a Ferrari 1-2 being unlikely? It just got a little more likely. I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm so sorry, Hazy. I'm so sorry. Anyway, a Ferrari 1-2 is seriously unlikely. O2 Hazy spins out after after turn 2 and 3. That's the commentator's curse if I've ever seen it once again. And he is down in 8th. Matty Adam behind Squidge 2017 then, but he did not fix that broken front wing. And it's a good thing he didn't, because he would have been behind Djokovic and Noah, and probably still O2 Hasey, to be fair. So it might have been a good judgment call for Matty not to do so. The problem for him is now, though, when it's raining, you very much need that extra downforce. And I would have loved to see Matty just stick it out on that set of hard tire and maybe, just maybe, try to hold on here for another 7 laps. Because right now the track is not, it's very, very damp, but it's not, I think, wet enough really to have caused him significant trouble yet. It would have been very, very close at the end, as here comes Ondrejek on the back of Tess. As Tess then pulled a brilliant strategy out with the emergence of that safety car. And he's done this previously, I think, Tess. He does dare go for those strategies. A Squidge at the moment leading Mercedes driver. Dan as well could be on for a good points finish here. Should be able to maintain the rest of this race in good order. He's in P5 at the moment, but with a time penalty, mind you, as well, that is going to set him back. And is that 3 or more seconds? As Darren is out of this race from a promising position. Now we have a full safety car, and Matt will be screaming at himself that he didn't stay out a couple of more laps, but he couldn't have known that. And the commentator's curse strikes again. He strikes again in the first sector. I'm just going to stop talking at this point because I've cursed 2 people now, and I just feel bad about it, to be honest. At this point I do really feel bad about it. So then, the safety car is out here at the end, and well, Matty can't really go into the pit lane for a new front wing, can he? That'd compromise him significantly. What I'm interested in, how worn are Tess's intermediate tires, sorry, from the stint in dry conditions? Does he have to come in again? He's got a little bit of a gap. He might have actually been able to make it out ahead of Squidge. It doesn't do so. I'm a bit shocked by that, to be fair. It all depends on what state his tyre is in. Ondrejek does come into the pit lane. Mr. Wilco stays out on a 3-second time penalty. But Darren then looking at a first proper good result of the season, unfortunately comes crashing down on him on lap 28 out of 35. Right at the very end, under these treacherous conditions as well. He's not been the first one to make a mistake in that sector, though. It's a tricky, tricky circuit to master. So Tess then has stayed out, so is Mr. Wilco. Squidge and Matty staying out, Djokovic and Ondrejek. And all of a sudden this race has changed in its entirety. As O2 Hasey, I'm very, very sorry that I did have to say it. I'm so sorry to Darren as well. It's one for the highlight reels for me, that one, unfortunately. Don't think I've ever seen such a blatant commentator's curse. Maybe ever. So then if Matty Adam was to pit now, he'd come out behind Spenkler's a bit too far back in order to make up positions. He's just going to have to live with that front wing damage. That has probably ruined the chance of a Matty Adam win here. So I'll be frustrated with Mr. Wilco spinning out ahead of him. Such is just racing. Squidge is going to want Mr. Wilco to disappear as quickly as he can so he can go after Tess. You would imagine Squidge's tires are going to be in an awful lot better of condition than Tess's. He needs to get a good restart here, does Tess. Needs to get a good restart. I think we have shut down battery deployments, and now it really is all about exit. If you get decent exits, you will be able to maintain position. If you don't, then you're in trouble. So now we're going to have safety car in this lap. It's going to stay out yet another lap actually. Probably as a result of people pitting quite late and the field hasn't quite bunched up yet. So it's a long safety car as well, and that is a benefit to Tess. It's a big benefit to Tess right now. But then, tricky situation to be in if you're Tess. He knows how worn his tyres are. We do not. I would imagine Squidge has some inkling behind him. Matty is going to try to do whatever he can, I'm sure, to make it past them, but it's going to be incredibly difficult. So we'll wait and see. Djokovic and Ondrejek with that time penalty. Djokovic in for a potential brilliant result here, but now that I've said that, you would imagine he's going to spin out just as safety car comes in. So then everyone, get your predictions in, because I think we're about to get racing again within too long. That's just revving up his engine there a little bit, maybe want to get this underway. We're waiting for two McLarens to come up to the scene. Should be doing so at the end of this lap, which means we should be going. So then here we go, we can get everything going. Tess can slow down the pack to whatever is his liking. We can get this race restarted once again. Mr. Wilco, how harsh is that time penalty? 3 seconds, the same for Ondrejek, the same for Spenklos. Those are the types of penalties. Under these conditions, we can see you out of the points. 4 laps of racing to go then. 32, 33, 34 and 35. So 4 laps of racing to decide the winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Tess has got to be the clear favourite, but don't count out Squidge 2017 from P10 starting in the sprint race, P9 actually, sorry. What could be P1, we'll wait and see. But there's been a heroic drive for Tess as well. The man who has not yet mastered these regulations fully, not to the same extent that Squidge did immediately, now has a chance of his first Grand Prix victory this season to take the double here in Hungary. Mr. Wilco is going to do whatever he can to just try to hang on to that third place, expecting people behind him to slow each other down a little bit and maybe, just maybe, get a top 5 or even a podium out of this. Squidge, he's got to get by, and he's got to get by quickly if he wants to have a go at Tess here, but what opportunities do you have without that battery deployment to play with? The battery now, for all the drivers, completely controlling itself. They can do nothing to override it. And Tess is walking away. 1.2, 1.3 seconds. Somewhere there is the gap. Mr. Wilco has got to mind his own race, his own championship, and his own points tally, which at the moment, after these first 6 races, isn't looking brilliant. He's got a chance to correct that here today. Djokovic's been given a free second time penalty for track limit warnings. Clumsy to get that in this fate of the race, especially when you potentially could be racing for a podium. That chance has now evaporated. And Squidge, is he somehow going to get a run on Mr. Wilco here? Matty, with the slightly less amount of downforce, is going to have a slight more amount of top speed, but is unable to work with that into turn 1, and Squidge isn't able to get anywhere near Mr. Wilco. And wet weather racing in these cars is tricky, let me tell you. Squidge almost touched in the back of Mr. Wilco and trying to somehow get him out of the way, but it is not to be done quite yet. Meanwhile, Tess is running away with this one. 2.1 seconds is the gap. And it's not perfect exits at the moment for Squidge. Matty Adam being able to maintain a very, very high pressure advantage. Oh, sorry, not an advantage, but a high pressure situation. He's creating that in regards to Squidge 2017 all at the time, not letting him disappear, even with a front wing end plate gone. What would Matty have been able to do with a full front wing in these conditions? Would have been very, very interesting to see. Here we go then. This is probably going to be Squidge's final shot at it if he wants to be able to go after Tess and maybe, just maybe, somehow win this race. But as I mentioned previously, it's all about the exits, and right now Matty's gotten a better exit than Squidge. He's positioning himself towards the inside. He's got to go for it. He's gonna go for it. Down the inside of the Mercedes is Matty Adam with a half a front wing. He's gonna force his way by the Mercedes and up into what would be P2 come the checkered flag with penalties applied. Squidge tries it around the outside and he makes it work. Tries around the outside into the Hamilton corner, and here comes Ondracek round the outside. That's clumsy from Ondracek as well. I don't know, might be looked at after the race. With free second time penalty, he's got to gain every single position that he can. But it looked just that little bit reckless. Wait and see. I didn't quite get the view of it that I would have wanted to. I didn't quite have the observation that I wanted to in the initial braking phase there. But Ondracek has made it past Matty Adam on track. Matty, who looked good for P3, de facto P2, now sitting in 5th place. I'll be very, very frustrated with the way that panned out. Squidge was just able to get the better of him, then Ondracek on the brakes somehow massively outbroke Matty Adam. And now the rain has started falling down significantly more, and the track is looking absolutely awful, actually. Looks like a freaking mirror. But the rain is coming down heavy, and that might change things even further. Here comes Ondracek down the inside of Squidge, actually. So he's got pace in these wet conditions, and can he maybe just overtake Mr. Wilco now as well? 2 overtakes in 2 laps, and getting past Mr. Wilco would solidify a little bit more. There's a lot of movement that's going to happen because of these free second time penalties. O2 Hasty might jump a couple of positions. Here comes Ondracek once again for the same move he's already tried once on Matty. I think he just thought better of it. Maybe, just maybe, around the outside of this next one. It turns into a switchback move, and Ondracek just makes that work, and what an overtake from Ondracek. What a couple of final laps from the one-time NEF1 champion, claiming or proving why he once stood as such. But my goodness, what a strategy call it ended up being from Tess. I was a bit skeptical when he did it, but he's done it previously, if I'm not mistaken. I've said that before, and it's worked out beautiful. And Tess is gonna come home. He won the sprint race in good fashion, and he is going to win this Grand Prix by 4 seconds in the end. A beautifully executed race from him. And Tess, once again, is a race winner in NEF1. He comes across the line to win the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I think he was relatively excited about that. Ondřej crosses the line in second. It might actually be third in the end. Yes, it is, with penalties applying. Mr. Wilco falling down significantly, but Ondřej breaking a big gap there, and Ondřej just beating up Matti by 91 thousandths of a second. Noah finishes 5th with Hayes in 6th. Good week for Ferrari. Very good week for Ferrari. Tiger Octaf in 7th, followed by Mr. Wilco in 9th. Oh, sorry, 8th. Djokovic in 9th in the end with that penalty. And Iwat in 10th. Makis, Wiggins, Spenclose failing to score here. Kit, Ray, who was looking like he could maybe even snatch the lead at one point during the first safety car period, is unable to score points. He finishes 15th, followed by 1980s Wildcat. An A33 BT with a tough race, then finishes in last. But it's a brilliant race from Tess that sees him on top of the winner's podium, or the winner's circle once again. And for the second race in a row, proving that he belongs at the front. Where he was absent for quite a number of weeks during the beginning of the season. Is this the return of Tess potentially, and could he now mount a late championship challenge? We'll wait and see. I'm sure the incident with Ondřej and Matt will be under investigation after the race. I don't particularly think Matt will enjoy that one. But for now, Ondřej on the podium once again here. So there we go then. Fastest lap goes to O2 Hasey as well. It's another point to Ferrari for this one. Tess wins the race from pole position, followed by Squidge and Ondřej as your podium. And it's a double victory for Tess to maybe get his championship going here. And Ferrari place themselves in a good position as well in the Constructors' Championship. We've got to keep an eye on that one, especially with Spenclose failing to score down in 13th. And thank you all very much for watching this rendition of NEF1. We're going to go over to the calendar so you know what to watch out for. Next week out, we are going to the Temple of Speed at Monza for round 7 of the championship. Qualifying plus a 27-lap Grand Prix is coming up then, so you don't want to miss out on that one. Until then, thank you so much for watching this week. We'll see you in 7 days' time when NEF1 returns. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one, stay safe, and peace out.